Dog, like I was so blown, right? Because like I have roadside assistance, but it would have taken an hour and a half to get there. So I was like, screw it. Like I have these Lyft codes, got a Lyft because we live across the city, right? So it takes 20 minutes to get home, to get her car, 20 minutes to get back to my car, and then like she does this 20,000 point turn so she can face my battery, and then something's like, yo, just go try and start it. And damn it, if that motherfucker just didn't rev up.
Nah, but like, talk me through the face and thoughts you made when you cranked it up and it didn't go broosh, and that thing went chugga chugga chugga.
So we went to get ice cream, right? Because I was like, man, it's been a good day. I went to get some ice cream. We eat in the car. I went to start the car because we had to go to Whole Foods. Car wouldn't start. Well, Whole Foods is like 4 or 5 blocks away. So I was like, let's walk to Whole Foods. Maybe by the time we get back, the car will start. Walk to Whole Foods, do what we got to do, come back, car did not start. And I was like, shit. So, and then I did the whole roadside assistance, wouldn't get there for another hour and a half. And we were both like, by the time we do all that, like we might as well just catch a cab home and do it ourselves. And then, like I said, it starts. And my spirit hit the floor. Like I got out the car and just laughed. And she just kind of like, she was behind the wheel, but you can tell she was kind of pissed. Like, what the fuck? Like we didn't get home till 10:30. It was time to go to bed. I couldn't watch any basketball. I missed the whole Celtics-Knicks game last night.
Wait a minute. Y'all got home at what time?
We got home at like 10:30.
Bro, that's still early.
For who?
That's early in the night.
You a young man. That's a McCall. That's a young man. 10:30 is brushing my teeth Monday through Thursday, Friday and Saturday, wrapping whatever I'm doing up. 10:30 is a young man's game.
Nah, I ain't gonna hold you. There have been nights where I have started my night at 10:30.
That's crazy. You are young and full of life.
Well, I was gonna say, Danny, this is the number difference, right? Someone whose age begins with a 2 as opposed to a 3.
Nah, don't let him fool you, Kyle. He starts with a 3.
Oh, you do? Wow.
No, I don't. I turned 29 this year.
Oh,
see, I thought so.
I don't know why I thought you were in your 30s. Oh yeah, you full of. What time do you go to bed?
Trust the numbers. It's always about the numbers.
Me?
Yeah, D. When do you go to bed? Let me know.
It depends on the night. Typically anywhere between 12 and 1, and I probably average at least like one night a week where I don't sleep at all.
Do you know the last time I saw midnight?
No.
New Year's Eve.
Oh my God.
That's
I need to get sleep on that level, but I'd be having so many things to do, man. Like, you know what my problem is? My problem is that every day I make this checklist of like things.
Jesus, what beautiful mind shit is that?
And every day I try to get all these things done, and I do this every single day, literally every single day. And so I end up staying up late because I try to get all these things done, and I never get all of it done. And so,
okay, that kind of gives a peek behind the mirror. Okay, that makes Kyle. When do you go to bed? I feel like you're more so closer to me, like 10:30.
Probably around 11 on weeknights, maybe 11:30 if I'm pushing it. But weekends, though, I've definitely seen midnight. I mean, I probably shouldn't have done this, but the hockey was so exciting Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night, Jets Blues went to double overtime in that game, 7 games. So that was worth staying up for, watching the whole thing. So I was a little more tired than I should have been Monday morning, but it was worth it.
Tonight, I'm going to try to at least make it to halftime of Wolves Warriors. I'm gonna try to make it to halftime. Like I made it to half last night, OKC Denver, and I was like, I should really watch this game. And then the old man inside of me was like, man, take your ass to bed because you don't want to go to work tomorrow and someone file a grievance because you're grumpy. So I went to bed.
Grumpy?
Yeah, man, I gotta get rest. You think this skin is natural? No, it takes effort. It takes sleep and hydration.
And a razor.
And a razor.
There we go.
What's that?
And a razor. I actually shaved last week.
What are you shaving, bald man?
So you know, so as a form of self-care, I learned this in therapy. Like you should do something that makes you feel good. So every other week, I go to a barber and get my beard trimmed, but I shave my head every other day. That I do at home. I'm not paying a barber to do that because that's expensive. You know how much it costs to get your head shaved from a professional barber?
They gonna say I'm hating.
You are about to hate.
You ain't got no 5 o'clock shadow. What the hell you going in there? You know what? You gotta do it.
You know what? No. See me next Tuesday when it's thick, and then you'll understand.
Whoa. We listen. Sometimes
when I got my head shaved for my wedding from like a professional barber with a straight razor, guess how much it cost?
probably like $100.
$100 in 2018.
2018 is like 120 and
130. Yeah, dog. So it was a Sunday morning and they offered free beer because the price was so high. And he said how much it was gonna cost him again. I said, yeah, pour that Blue Moon. I don't give a fuck if it's 8:30 on a Sunday morning. I need that Blue Moon right now.
Shout out to 2018 weddings as well.
Is that when you got married? Yeah, 2018 was a great year for love.
Did you also get married in 2018?
I did.
What month?
September.
So did I. September what?
22nd.
September 9th. Look at that.
Mad respect.
Love is beautiful.
6.5 years strong so far.
Yeah, 6.5 years strong. Thank you, because math is not my strong suit. It'll be 7 in September. Good Lord.
I don't know what the hell y'all talking about.
Well, I don't know what you were talking about when you were talking about 2 a.m.
Well, that's because, listen, you also got to think that at least once a week I DJ from like 8 to 11, which usually means I don't really get home until like midnight. Now DJ on weekends from like 9 to midnight. Usually don't get home till like 1.
Jesus.
Might go out afterwards.
Might go out.
I was thinking, you get home, you're probably wired from the show, right? So you can't just get home and immediately go to sleep. No, it's go out for, which to be fair, you're probably so wired you may as well go out, right? As opposed to stay at home and struggle to sleep. So I kind of understand that actually.
Yeah, it's like a let me down drink I'd be going to get. Just like hit a bar, just sit down, take a deep breath.
But what's still open at that time, right? Like I know where you are. Like I feel like
it's like mad dive bars, they can still be open.
Then
the dive bars stay open until like 2:30, maybe 3. Most of the like cocktail bars stay open until like 2. There are some strip clubs that stay open all night. I don't go to those spots.
But you just know about them. Okay.
yeah, because you walk past them and get to the bar. There's strip clubs pretty much everywhere here, so you're gonna see the ones that don't go.
Hey, man,
they're really on every corner.
Strip clubs are a scam.
You've been here before. You act like you've literally been here before.
I was in the house when the strip clubs opened up.
This is the highest strip club per capita in the country.
I can believe that. The strip clubs are a scam. I'll never go to a strip club ever again.
Listen, your uncle told you something, didn't he?
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
I feel like he's referenced that like several times over the course of this podcast history, which is great. It's a lengthy history, lots of episodes. You guys did a great job.
Hey, his uncle was giving him that old head jail game. He giving up that old head shit. Hey, listen here, young blood. Hell you going to a strip club for? You paying to get some booty? Get it for the free.
Hey man, that is my gospel. Anti-strip club rhetoric.
Anything else we need to? What other? Can we get him on the show so we can?
No, you don't want him on the show.
I need his 10 commandments of things not to do because we might.
If he came on the show, Jeff would just say, "All right, guys, that's it."
He come on the show. Let me ask you something. Your uncle's 10 commandments or Biggie's 10 crack commandments?
I'm sure there's some overlap between the two.
Now we don't talk enough, but the old heads, when the old heads really get when you ask like an old head, like someone born in between like 60 to maybe early 90s about what they think about the current state of the world, you just realize, we can't put your views in front of other people.
Which is crazy, right? Because most of them live through the end part of segregation. Like, dog, are you telling me right now is segregation?
Yeah, they started talking. They'd be like, man, you see this bullshit that be going on, man? On the TV, they got a couple where the man is dating another man and they got a kid. How the hell that work? And you like, what are you
talking
about? That hard.
They be 1 cent away from saying they miss Jim Crow. Like, what are you talking about?
You know what I miss? You know, there's back there at the time when the white people would do their thing, we would do our thing. They wouldn't bother us, we wouldn't bother them. And you'd be like, well, what do you mean by that? Like, when did they sit in the front door of those establishments? Just shut the hell up. You always think you know that. You know that.
Sinners is their favorite movie ever. Did you go see that yet?
I did go see it.
Cal, have you seen Sinners yet?
I haven't been to a movie theater, I think, since Avengers Endgame.
That is
watch it twice, but I can rant about that later. It's not,
that is impressive.
Listen.
Yeah, I don't know. Just once we got out of the rhythm of seeing movies in theaters, it kind of just became, man, I'm paying so much for these streaming services. I don't really want to go to a movie theater.
Okay, little 13 never heard, because all Sinners is going to show you is that when the white person comes to knock in, don't dance.
That is not the theme of the movie.
That's what I got.
I'm sure it'll be on a streaming platform eventually. I'll watch it.
It'll be on Max in a couple minutes. But
hey, with Crave in Canada, we get all the HBO stuff. So
really, okay. So you don't have to pay $15 a month for Max?
I don't. Yeah, no. Crave is less than that. It's you can pay $10 a month.
You guys haven't made it in Canada. I need to go to Canada.
Of course, Bam saw Sinners. You know, Bam was in there on his pro.
Bam was in there. He loved a good swirl. Bam was in that joint.
I know someone else who watched it too. That I know you guys love to make fun of.
Hey, Rojo? Oh yeah, you know Rojo.
He was in there.
That little get down soiree is the exact picture on Rojo's wall. Hey, Rojo got a picture of Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Rick Steiner, James Brown, Snoopy, Snoop Dogg, Biggie, and Tupac playing poker. And that's like, all right, man.
No, not Hogan. Anyone but Hogan.
Nah, he definitely had Hogan. Hogan was in Sinners. Hogan was definitely in Sinners.
Hogan was definitely in Sinners.
That was his ancestors. Man.
Oh, shit.
You saw how the natives got out of there? The natives was like, hey,
Didn't see him again.
Yeah. The whole movie, I'm sitting there like, where are they at?
Where's the call back to the natives? Nope.
Didn't come back.
Mm-mm.
Bam, I heard your name, Preacher Boy.
Hey, yo.
All right. It's the only thing I'm going to say. Preacher Boy kind of wild because he in the function trying to get his munch on with a little twang on it.
Crazy.
Like,
you got it.
No, it's the 30s.
Straight to horny jail. Like, that is
fresh off the cotton fields, and that's where you going?
Like, and that is not hyperbole. Fresh off the cotton field. Like, that's not insane.
And Kyle, they had the cotton picking like technique in there too.
Like, that was the most offensive scene in that movie.
What you mean? What?
That scene you were just referencing, the twang scene, that was the most offensive scene in the movie.
Well, I've been living old enough to see a bunch of freaks. And
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode
182 of Speak On It. And you already know, when you see this Nas fade, you can only be one brother, the good brother, Los D Mix, as usual, joined every Tuesday by the smoothest bald head on the East Coast, Mr. Danny Ocean. And because we're going to be talking a little bit of rookie draft, we also got our guy, Kyle.
Yeah, I actually got the fresh cut today too.
There we go, Kyle.
EA the second, Patrick Villa.
I'm not laughing at Kyle, ladies and gentlemen. We have Bam.
We not reading that freaky ass shit up in here. Hell no.
Yeah. Hey, that's your family. It must run your family. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to talk about today. We got the NBA playoffs in full effect. We got the NHL playoffs. We got the NFL draft out a few weeks ago. We weren't able to discuss it, but we also had our fantasy rookie draft, which I assume a lot of people had last week. So we have Kyle here to help us really kind of break down some of this rookie draft and how each of us fared in our respective drafts. But it is basketball season. The NBA playoffs have taken off. Let's start there. Let's start in the East. Our semifinal matchups are set. We have the Cavs versus the Pacers, who are playing game 2 right now, with the Cavs being up what looks like 14. They're up 38-24 with about 8 minutes left in the second. The Pacers are up in the series, though, 1-0. Danny, Kyle, I don't know who wants to go first, but give me some thoughts on game 1, what you saw from the Pacers as they handled Cleveland pretty much wire to wire in game 1. Different story in game 2, as I think Cleveland has some investments. What were your thoughts on game 1 as the Pacers are able to steal home court advantage?
Kyle, you're our esteemed guest. Go for it.
Okay. I actually did watch some of the game because it started. It's funny. I love how the NBA has no qualms about we're starting round 1 before round 2 before round 1's even done. Like that Pacers Cavs game was before game 7 and Rockets Warriors. So it's always funny. The NHL kind of refuses, but they will start the next day. Like that Sunday night, it was the final game of round 1, and then sure enough, Monday night, round 2 begins. But they do like to make that distinction of they just want it to be officially done before the next round begins. I think part of it is like basketball is a pretty physical sport, but not to the level of hockey. So the idea of the grind of a playoffs is you really do want to reward the teams that win a series quickly, give them more rest, let their players get healthier for the 2 months that ensue. Assuming you go all the way, you want to be as rested as possible. Whereas the NBA, it seems like as soon as maybe you bank the rest later on, but as soon as you've done your match, let's as quickly as we can get to that second round and get to that third round. Then there's maybe you might get a rest advantage for the finals is what they kind of assume, it seems. But yeah, so I actually got to watch some of that game, especially to start. And the game later that night, seeing former Raptors do really well, and I mean Van Vliet's team did win, but then seeing Siakam play so well for the Pacers, it's a little bittersweet, but also a reminder of, man, we had that, we won a title, and that was fun to a certain extent. I felt like it's not Jarrett Allen, the center for the Cavs. It seemed like, because I remember that Raptors run, one of the things that the Raptors did really well in the third round against the Bucks, not the first 2 games, they got crushed. They won 4 straight because Siakam and Leonard really found ways to the 2 of them will semi double team Giannis. Like, we're not going to fully commit to that, but they played it really smart to where they can may not make it look like a double team, but then close in really quickly. And they built their whole defensive strategy around those 2 being able to neutralize Giannis, and it worked. It seemed like the Pacers did a little bit of that with Allen, with Siakam doing that. And then also noticed the Clippers kind of did that against the Nuggets, or at least tried to. It didn't work as successfully. Jokic is something else, though. So I maybe not too surprised that the Pacers, I mentioned Siakam. Really, Halliburton is the star there, but they could they could upset the Cavs suddenly. Like, it's not it certainly is a series, and it's probably going to be.
You're right about that.
You take home court advantage. It's great, but yeah, it's just a reminder of how great Siakam is. It was great to see from a Raptors fan. I'll try and think of the positive aspects of the good memories of him, and still see him.
The Raptors will be back soon enough. I really agree with your point on Siakam. I think his ability. It's funny that when you think of, and again, you might know this as your time as a Mavs fan. When you think about Rick Carlisle teams, you don't think a lot about their defense and what they're known for defensively. Yet, and I think that kind of in history has kind of taken away of the abilities of what Pascal Siakam can do. I think to what Kyle's point is, he's a very long, athletic, wing, and so out there. I mean, yeah, he's maybe not like an Evan Mobley or Jared Allen, but he can hold his own defensively. And I think they had a really good plan of just using, pace, using transition, open threes, running the corners. Just even when the Cavs are going like 7-0 runs, 8-0 runs, and then all the Pacers would do is just get like a quick 5-0 spurt just off a transition, miss baskets, even when I get back on defense. I do think that pace is what the Pacers are going to need, not only to win games like game 1, but to win, back in Indianapolis. We're going to have the crowd with you. I don't expect I be honest with you, I don't expect the Pacers to. If they do, I mean, it's going to be really, really spooky when you think about Game 3. I expect the Cavs to win this Game 2. I actually have the Cavs in 6.
Okay.
Just I do believe the Cavs are the better team here. But I will say, if these injuries to Evan Mobley, to what's my name, Darius Garland, and there's one more dude that's hurt. It's just I'm forgetting off the top of my head. If those injuries are a little bit more serious than we thought,
DeAndre Hunter.
DeAndre Hunter, yeah, that's what it was. DeAndre Hunter. If those injuries are a little bit more serious than we thought, it might be trouble for the Cavs. But as of right now, I think they're just got to get used to the pace in which the Pacers play. I mean, the Pacers were one of the only teams to beat the Cavs multiple times this year, so them winning Game 1 wasn't too surprising. But we will see as we get to Game 2. I mean, through Game 2 and head to Game 3, which should be Thursday or Friday in Indiana. Danny, what you think?
I agree with everything you guys said. I do have a question. If the Pacers make it back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second year in a row, what kind of conversations do we need to have about Tyrese Halliburton? Because I don't feel like we talk about Halliburton in the same breath as about
Well,
Donovan
his
Mitchell.
voted him most overrated player in the league, or
That's
whatever.
what I'm saying, right? Like people think for the most part, he's overrated. He was an Olympian, even though he really didn't get to play. Like, I think he's probably like a third-tier superstar. Like, what conversations do we need to have if he reaches the Eastern Conference Finals more than Joel Embiid twice? Twice as many times as Embiid. Embiid's never seen the conference finals. And we talk about Embiid when healthy.
They were that Kawhi Leonard 5-time bounce bucket away from it, but another great Raptors memory. Just got to keep bringing it up. Got to go to the past for those. Do we put him on the same level as Anthony Edwards?
No. I think Ant is a different beast. Like, the Pacers would trade everything for Ant. The Timberwolves would probably trade Rudy Gobert for Tyrese.
Fair enough. So not that high. So like we've capped that ceiling.
I think you put Tyrese Halliburton in the same class as maybe Danny. What do you think about that?
I was thinking like Bam Adebayo. So I'm thinking he and Bam are like kind of on the same plane. Like, great to have on your team. Prefer not him be the number one, but if he is, you can make the playoffs.
You can make.
And if the ball bounces right, you could be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
So the thing about Tyrese Halliburton is you always know he's going to make the right plays because he's always near the top of the league in terms of assist to turnover ratio.
Right.
And when you're at the top of the league in assist to turnover ratio, that means no matter what, you're setting up your people to score and you're not turning the ball over. I think that's a winning formula.
But at the same time, whenever you're going into a series, it'll be rare that he's the best player on the floor.
He don't need to be the best player. He just needs to be able to.
When you're going against Boston, like when you're going against like the big dogs, right?
I'm talking about the big dogs because the way they play, they live and die by certain things that if it's not there, you have every opportunity in the world to win.
Yeah, we'll talk about Boston in a second. Like I see Indiana as like on the same plane as like Orlando.
Nah, Orlando doesn't shoot enough threes, shoot or make enough threes.
That's true. They live on defense.
Yeah, it's funny because one of the few basically last year I just watched the finals. One of the few basketball games I remember watching the playoffs was Orlando-Cleveland Game 7 in the first round because that was the only Game 7 that I remember. I'll tune into that. And I mean, I remember that game being kind of close early. Then I think it was just before half. Cleveland like really started to take off and they just never looked back. So I think the fact that Cleveland struggled this much with Indiana kind of shows that maybe the Pacers do deserve to be a tier higher than Orlando. That's just, again,
that's fair.
Opponent. And, I mean, Cleveland seems like they're a lot better this year than they were last year.
Way better.
They're taking it to a new level, too. So,
well, how about this?
With Mitchell, like that more team chemistry, so.
Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox. Handshake emoji.
I can agree with that. I can get behind that. I mean, they were...
Granted, they were teammates at one point.
Yeah, they were teammates for a little bit before Sabonis and Halliburton got traded.
That's the bonus tier as hell. Like that is good enough to make the playoffs, not bad enough to get a superstar. Like that's the bonus tier is hell.
He be trying now.
he be working his like. It's not hate on Sabonis. I'm just saying like if Sabonis is your one, good enough to get in the play in, not bad enough.
Sabonis is the one, or Zach LaVine, or
those two are the ultimate handshake emoji. Zach LaVine, DeMonte Sabonis, handshake.
I mean, Healy's calling Halliburton the point guard version of Paul George.
Nah, that's disrespectful to Paul George.
Okay, fair enough.
I think Paul George against the Heat, the dunk on Birdman. I don't know. I see Paul George in his prime a tier higher than Halliburton, but that's me.
Cavs winning this series?
Yes.
6 games or 7?
Give me 7. Those injuries, they got to account for something.
Kyle, what about you? You got the Cavs winning this one, the series?
I don't watch enough basketball to predict.
It's all good, my brother.
I'll take the math and say that because the Pacers are up, that they're more likely to win. They only have to win 3 more games, whereas the Cavs have to win 4. So I'll take the math behind that and say the Pacers.
That's great math. Let's shift to the other side of the Eastern Conference. You have the Celtics versus the Knicks. Now, last night they played a hell of a game 1. I'm going to start by saying, if you are the casual basketball fan, you probably saw that game and was like, man, the NBA, this is awesome. This isn't bad product. If you watch the NBA, you just sat there and you just shook your fucking head. Like, shoot a fucking 2-pointer. Dear.
That's true.
Drive to the hoop, please.
But
did they still count?
Even before, and it's not even because they went to overtime. I'm pretty sure in regulation, the Cavs set the record for most missed threes in a playoff game.
Like it's
I think last night they said,
or not the Cavs, the Celtics. Sorry.
The Celtics took 20 shots in the second or third quarter, and 19 of them were threes.
Yo, at what point do you just shoot a little mid-range?
And I mean, to their point, it was working up to a point, and that's why they got that big lead, and then it stopped working and then just evaporated.
What is Joe Mazzulla getting paid to do? None of his coaches like, hey, man, that's 13 threes in a row. Can we call a timeout and run a set?
So this when I finished watching this game last night, I said, "Ma'am, this Celtics team for the last 2 years might be that Rockets team that couldn't beat the Warriors, but like for Super Saiyan version of it. Like this is the ultimate version of what that team should be. And even then, watching it again, like watching more of this team, it ain't it. It's only but so finite because when they miss, it gets ugly and it gets ugly fast.
But here's the thing, though, and this is go back to Kyle in the math part of the Cavs series. Joe Mazzulla is saying mathematically it is impossible to shoot ourselves 4 out of 7 games. That's all Joe Mazzulla is saying. He's like, "Yep,
okay, we can fix that, but like, what happens when it happens?
Then you have but it hasn't happened yet. Like they won the title last year doing that.
Yeah, right. Like, and I think, they just made. Was this the game that was kind of okay? We pushed. I wonder if was this the design, right? For it to be game 1 and for it to be this extreme, did they see something in the Knicks perimeter defense that this is something we can exploit? So maybe let's be extra aggressive. Maybe that was the coaching staff saying, take the threes as constantly as you can. Let's push it as far to an extreme as we can. Maybe now they'll reel it back. Okay, we saw if we push it too far to an extreme, we'll lose. So was that something that they thought it could be something they could exploit against the Knicks? And I guess to a certain part they did. Weren't they up by like 20?
Yeah, they're up by 20. They're up well over 20.
Yeah, so like being up by 20 in the NBA is like being up by 21 in the NFL. It's like if you go this league, like what are we doing?
But to the point that it was working at a certain point. So to their credit, like they did have success, but then
like I bet
you're going to regress to your average, right? You're not going to be that hot of a 3 shooter. So maybe at that point they should have in-game adjusted. I wonder if going into game 2 they'll be a little more reserved with that.
Because there's going to be one game where they hit like 17 out of 25 threes in a half, and we're like, oh my God, this team is unstoppable.
Are they worried about Karl Anthony Towns? Like just like defensively, like are they worried about him so much in the paint that we feel like we have to just make all these threes? Or
you don't be wanting to bang in the low, you don't be wanting to bang in the post. Okay. And for him, he down there banging with KP, Kristaps Porzingis, and Dominican Papi. Al.
If It's still crazy to think that Al Horford was on that Florida team with Joakim Noah and Corey Brewer. Like, those guys have been out of the league for like 10 years.
Yeah, but Dominican Poppy Al Horford still finds ways to get real NBA minutes, and he's changed his game. He's shooting the three. Carl Towns don't be wanting to bang in the post, so don't even matter.
It doesn't even matter.
So again, we'll see how. I guess this will be a big game for Missoula then, right? Like, how do you adjust after this loss? And if they don't, maybe that's where the questions start to come in. Let's maybe get they are the defending champs to a certain extent. Let's give them the 1 game race. But I was just thinking, what are the odds that they repeat? Who is the last repeat NBA champion? Is it the Warriors with Durant? First years with Durant?
Yeah, I think that is.
The unstoppable Durant Warriors were the last repeat champions.
I don't think the Celtics are on that level, right? So I think the odds are against them on repeating, right? Like,
really? So who do you? I don't see anyone in the East that can take them down. So who in the West? I think the Nuggets can do it, and I think
I don't think the Nuggets can do it.
You don't think the Nuggets can?
I know what I'm banking on. This entire NBA experience north of the border for everyone is: can the Thunder win this? And we finally get a Canadian Finals MVP with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And that's the story I'm writing. So I'm all in that the Thunder are going to win it.
Okay.
I think the Thunder can do it. I think the T-Wolves have the length. It would depend on their ability to shoot and stay with the C's if they were to make it.
I mean, Ant took the most threes that anyone in the league this year, right? Was it Ant? Ant was that he either he took or he made.
I think he took.
Yeah, Ant's a better three-point shooter than we think he is. Nas Reed is a good three-point shooter. Mike Conley is serviceable. Can you go bar for bar with Boston? No, but you can hold your own.
I think the Warriors just might get ran out the building if they go.
Yeah, the Warriors, they're cooked. There's a reason they were celebrating that Game 7 win over Houston. They know what's on the horizon tonight.
Yeah,
And get to slay another legend. He Randy Orton.
Yo, this dude, listen, man, we gonna get to it. Listen, before we get to the Western side of the playoffs, let's talk about some losers from the first round. Let's start with the Bucks. So first, prayers up for Dame. That was a tough injury at his age for his type of usage. A tough injury. Wishing all the recoveries in the world for Dame Lillard. Also to some of you other Milwaukee Bucks. I saw y'all walk past that man laying on while he sat on the ground. Took a few pins for somebody. Helped him up. Y'all fucked up, boy. And because of that, I just know Giannis is asking for a trade. It's over. Championship went over the Bucks.
Oh my God. Donovan just dunked on the whole team. I'm sorry. Keep going. Good Lord.
Yo, it's just
yeah, Donovan Mitchell just yammed on somebody.
Okay.
So call the foul. Give me the replay. Thank you. Hold on 1 second. I know no one else. Everyone's on the audio adventure.
Well, even those people watching can't actually see what you're watching. So
yeah, so it's look at this. Good God. Oh, that's on Siakam. Damn, that's tough. That's what happened.
all the Siakam praise. Oh man, that's great timing. Great comments, Kyle.
You get yammed on every once in a while.
Now, why Siakam go up and try to?
I mean, Donovan's a good
you
guard.
guys definitely know ball better than me because there was tons of reasons. Like D mentioned a bunch of reasons why he thinks like the Timberwolves could win the title. All I said was there's a Canadian on the Thunder, so they're going to win. That was my whole reason.
Listen, I've heard people cheer for teams for worse reasons.
Right.
Oh my
cheering,
God.
sure, but as the objective reason is why.
Oh my God! Do you see the way Jason Tatum look in that uniform? Oh my God! This guy that's here on this house.
All right,
You're like, all right, cool, good. Danny, Knicks or Celtics in this series? I got C's in 5. I don't believe the Celtics will lose another game in this series.
I'll take Celtics in 7. This Knicks team they're just going to fight. Like if last night taught you anything is a Tom Thibodeau team is going to fight until they can't anymore.
Okay, if last night told me anything is, bank on Jalen Brunson getting 30 and bank on a random other Nick that might get 15, but outside of that, nobody.
They've already stolen home court advantage. They've already got their one in Boston.
It will be stolen back tomorrow. It will.
No, they'll be.
You mean they have to be stealing back in game 3?
Yeah, they got to get to game 3.
Oh, well,
but
all the pressure's on Boston tomorrow. All like Nick, if the Knicks lose by 30, who cares? But if they win, Ooh, buddy.
I imagine, just to the earlier conversation, Brunson, would you also consider him a tier above Halliburton?
Oh, a couple tiers above Halliburton. Okay. Oh, it's
not
over.
Not a couple.
Okay, so
not a couple.
Not a couple.
Tier. Yes.
A tier.
Yeah.
Brunson versus Ant.
Like Ant is.
Okay. That's what I thought, but I don't know ball as well as you guys do, so I am generally curious.
Ant is a tier below like Steph. Like Steph is at the top. Like Steph, Bron, Luka, KD,
Jokic.
Jokic, yeah. Jokic is at the top by himself. Yeah, thank you, Kyle. Jokic is at the top of the mountain by himself.
For Shea.
And Shea and those other guys are underneath him. And then you can put Jalen Brunson.
Okay, fair enough.
Speaking of the Nuggets and the Thunder, last night we had game 1 of the Western Conference semis. The 1-4 matchup in the West had the Nuggets in OKC. Outside of the Celtics' massive collapse, please tell me your thoughts on how the Thunder blew this game.
It's young, man. And at some point, I had this conversation with a guy at work today. At what point do we stop calling him young? Because SGA is in his mid-20s. SGA is not young.
I went to college with SGA's cousin.
Hardenstein is not young. Chet's young. Luke Dort's not young. J-Dub is young. Like, this team isn't like last year. You were like, oh, they're like the way we talk about Houston this year. Oh, they're just pups having some fun. Like, nah, this Thunder team they're not old, but they're not babies. So if they lose, it's like, I think it's time to have I don't think it's time. Like, we'll have some real conversations about like the Thunder, because I feel like right now they're just getting this benefit that they're young. Like, Chet's the only young guy on that. They have youth, but like their best player is 26.
I mean, I'm with you on they have youth in the NBA, but like what happened yesterday is like simple basketball, like situational basketball. You're up, they're up 2 or 3, and all like let them inbound the ball, take some time off the clock, and then foul. They fouled immediately. Yeah. Then, not to mention Chet missing easy putbacks, easy bunnies, gets to the line, misses the free throw to go up 3. That was the big mistake. You missed the free throw to go up 3 to then guarantee that they have to take a 3 to tie, not to win. Then y'all don't get back on defense in transition. You let Russell Westbrook drive the ball up the court for Aaron Gordon to shoot the 3. Listen to the names I'm saying, dog. This is like put a body on a body at this point.
Here's the thing, though. If
Aaron Gordon wasn't even in the game.
If Aaron Gordon hits a 3 to beat me, I just got to count. I just got to charge that to the game. Like, if it's not like Jamal Murray hitting a 3 or someone who can shoot. If Aaron Gordon hit a 3 to beat me, hey, man, it won't my night.
But the thing is, you got to put a body on the body situationally. Like, they're just so it's like when you're watching an NFL game and a team is up 17 in the 4th, and then the other team scores a touchdown, and then the team that's up, they get the ball back, and they're driving, and then they turn the ball over, and then the other team scores a touchdown with like seconds left to go, but like on like a bad penalty that could have been avoided, and you're sitting there like, yo, dog, all you had to do was just be a little bit more situationally aware. Maybe this doesn't happen. I don't know. Now, I will say, watching the game, I was like, damn, the Thunder really might run the Nuggets out the building. But when the best player on the floor is kind of a big European man, I guess you always have a chance in the series.
Did you see when Joker and Chet will run down the floor and like Joker just like threw his shoulder in his chest, like, hey, don't forget. Yeah. I got 80 pounds on you, kid. Like, chill out.
Yo, you see where Joker was on the sideline coaching the team? I've been wondering what the hell that coach be in that huddle doing. Because he animated. Yeah, he animated. Hey, you remember LeBron after J.R. Smith forgot that's how he was talking to him.
I'll never forget that. I was watching that game with my boys, and I was like, did J.R. Smith forget that? Sure enough. Even like,
and I think it was one of those things where because the free throw was missed, right? Was he just like they were almost like, oh, he's gonna for sure make the free throw, and then like he almost banked that 1 point being on the board when it wasn't there, and he almost couldn't believe that it was missed. But then that's why there was a rebound because it was missed, right? But it was like who was shooting the free throw? I can't remember. But it was someone good enough that you
George Hill.
if you had to guess, you'd think
George Hill. It was George Hill.
He had that George Hill in him in that game last night. He definitely had that George Hill in him because he makes that free throw. That three doesn't even matter if it goes in or not because
overtime.
It's funny how so many of the home teams lost. Right? I mean, all of them so far lost game one of round two. So
lost.
Yeah, all the teams that got rest lost. Like we talk about rest being an advantage. The Thunder lost and the Celtics lost.
Now, again, like, and it wasn't that they were all close games, right? Like, it seemed like maybe the one where it maybe affected the most was maybe Pacers Cavs. And just, again, the rust of keeping up to the pace of the Pacers, which is a great pun, and D made it several times. Bravo. But, I mean, for the Knicks and for the Celtics and the Thunder, like, it was just making those shots at the end, those end-of-game situations. I don't know if that's rust, that just they didn't execute at the very end when they needed to, because I mean for the Celtics it didn't seem rusty at all. Like they got up to some pretty big leads. They were shooting really well, so I don't know about that. But
Danny,
maybe the Cavs probably make sense, right? Like that's you get that time off and then you have to play the Pacers right away and they play that fast. Like that's where you maybe take some time. So does that almost mean maybe the Cavs are the best adjusted to now that they've got that one game, they'll be able to get into rhythm more easily. For the Thunder, you almost had it, and you felt like this demoralized them almost, right? Like you almost had it right there. You maybe should have had it, and if you start to struggle, you go down 0-2 pretty quickly and pretty easily. So that's like I'm just, I guess, a little concerned as someone who apparently is now a Thunder fan.
And I want to remind the people: the Thunder and Nuggets split the season series at 2 games apiece this season.
Oh, okay.
Bam said the Pistons' Game 6 loss will haunt us. Yes, it will. It should. Y'all, what the hell was the point in winning Game 5 if you're going to come home and end your season on your own home court? Should have lost in New York. Left it.
Hey, shout out to the Pistons for fighting.
Hey, the future is bright in Detroit. And
you didn't even have your real fighter on the floor. Imagine how many people Isaiah Stewart could have taken out.
Oh, yeah, you knew Isaiah. Oh, Isaiah Stewart was going to suplex somebody. He was going to hit somebody with a bookend or something.
Yeah, he was ready.
I think the way he went after LeBron.
I mean, the turnaround, right? Like they said, didn't they tie the NBA record for consecutive losses last year?
Oh, it was one of the funniest times of my sports fandom history, and I'm not even a Pistons fan. Like,
pretty sure they beat the Raptors
every day. It was like, yo, the Pistons lost another one, and they still ain't get them free wings.
Well, and I remember, like, I think it was because they had the former Raptors coach, right?
Monty Williams was there.
Oh no, it was Monty Williams last year. It was Dwayne Casey.
Monty.
He made the point that by the end of that streak, like, man, we were getting teams playing almost like championship level basketball. We cannot be the team that ends this streak and loses them finally. Oh, but then they got the Raptors.
Listen,
what a time,
Monty. You are a great coach, great man. I've heard a lot of great things about you. With that being said, there is not enough God in the world that'd make an NBA team bring you back after you lost a franchise number of games in a row. You got to go, and you got to take the Lord with you.
The one thing I'll say, Phoenix has not been as good since they fired him.
So yeah, they shouldn't have fired him.
He should still be there right now.
Yeah,
so that's the one thing that works against him
prematurely. And they are strapped to that Bradley Beal contract, which they want so badly to get out of. Just remember the reason why teams trade these players the way they do is because every so often there's a contract like Bradley Beal's where like literally everybody is upset about this, except him.
Except him. I'm about to say I like Phoenix. Phoenix is great.
I like Phoenix. All right, Danny, I got Nuggets in 7. What do you have?
Ooh, I got OKC in 7. I still. This is such a toss-up. Like, I believe in SGA, but I've seen Joker do it. Yeah, give me Nuggets in 7. Flip that. I need to see SGA do it. I've seen Joker do it.
This next one is interesting then. If you got to see him do it, do you then believe the T-Wolves can beat the Warriors.
Yes, I've seen Ant do it. Ant did it last year.
What do you think is the key to this series?
Ooh. Rudy and Draymond not fighting each other.
Yo, I'm glad you brought that up, my brother. I recently came across the highlight of the last time that one time the Warriors and the T-Wolves were getting into it, and I forgot what Rudy had did. Draymond went straight for Rudy and started choking him.
Like, yeah, Rudy, you always keep your cool.
Choking him out like
choking
Ben Simmons on Cat that one time.
Oh man,
yes,
yeah.
And then well, here's the thing about Draymond though, and he has figured this out. He gets that first tech early, and he knows the refs will not throw him out, so he does whatever he wants.
I saw. Wasn't it you that tweeted out like Draymond figured out that a flagrant's not a tech? So
it was not. I did not, but I did see that tweet. Yeah.
Okay.
Biggest loophole in the league right now. Here it is.
Daniels going at it here, and then all of a sudden Gobert comes in, and Draymond's like, no. Yeah, it's chill out. And then Draymond, he headlocked Gobert.
Yo, he didn't do nothing to go straight for Rudy. Look at the action. This is Jaden McDaniels, Klay Thompson. Look at
McDaniels going at it here, and then all of a sudden Gobert comes in, and Draymond's like, no.
Yeah, almost.
It just chokes him. That's the key.
This is for shutting down the league. Thanks for touching the microphone.
This is for shutting down the league.
Oh man, no, Draymond.
I don't know, man.
Rudy Gobert. It's
shut down Defensive Player of the Year.
It is so random some of the beef that some NBA players have because it's like, yo, I would not have suspected you don't like this person, but okay, I'm here.
I feel like everyone hates Rudy Gobert, and I understand because he seems like a guy that he seems like a nice guy, but you wouldn't like him. But yeah, like everyone hates like Rudy Gobert.
LeBron beat his ass.
Say what?
Remember that it was either game 5 or game 4. LeBron almost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Rudy's not a dirty player. He's not out here saying bad stuff about people, but everybody want to fight him. It's something about Rudy, man. I just want to punch him in the face.
It's because he's French.
I don't think it's that.
Yeah, I think it's because he's French.
Because Nick Batum is French, and Nick Batum has been in the league as long as I've been alive, and everybody loves Nick Batum.
Yeah, but Nick Batum could also pass for Nickron Batum.
Patty Mills, everybody. I ain't never heard no one try to choke Patty.
Everyone like Tony Parker.
He's Australian.
Tony Parker was a dirty Mac. That's how people wanted to choke him out.
Yeah, but that's why they was also smushing his wife. So I guess it's easy.
Wemby, ain't nobody trying. You can't choke Wemby out. You got to climb a ladder. But still, like no one's going after Wemby.
Yo, I couldn't. All right, honest. If someone wanted to really give Victor Wembanyama the hands,
you better have a pistol.
No, I think you could probably.
He got too much length, man. Like he could just jab you. And
if the person's fast,
I was gonna say, can you just do the thing where he puts his palm on your head and you can't move forward?
100% he could do that.
Yeah. But what if someone? But y'all act like Victor Wembanyama is the strongest person ever.
I think he is stronger than he looks.
He's going way stronger than me, so I have nothing.
Who would you put and give a decent shot against Wemby? It got to be someone who can take a punch or two and not like I would put Jimmy Butler against Wemby because Jimmy would win off of will alone.
Yeah, Jimmy's pretty wild.
Listen, Victor Wembanyama don't want no part of Aaron Donald one-on-one.
Those are two different sports.
I don't know that anyone wants to.
I'm saying no one in the league.
You'd have to be pretty stupid.
Victor Wembanyama in the club and Aaron Donald walk in, he ain't gonna be doing all that French shit.
I'm talking about hoopers.
What do you mean French?
Remember what happened to the man who was in the club talking that shit to Aaron Donald? Aaron Donald sent a bottle his way.
That's no one in the NBA wants to fight Aaron Donald except that dude in Indiana, James Johnson. Like he the only person who would fight him.
I think Isaiah Stewart might want a piece.
I imagine most NFL players wouldn't want to fight Aaron Donald.
Bobby Portis. I think Bobby Portis would fight Aaron Donald.
Bobby Portis or Antonio Brown, one-on-one.
Oh, Bobby Portis would wax AD. Are you kidding? Bobby Portis sent Mirotic back to his home country with a broken jaw. Like, Mirotic was supposed to lead that Bulls team, and Bobby Portis broke his jaw, and he was like, I'm going home. Fuck this. Like, I'm going home. Fuck you guys. And
It's
he
like
went
Geno
home.
Smith with the Jets.
Yeah, like, poor Geno. His whole career was wrecked. But nah, give me Bobby Portis.
Hey, remind me of the Geno Smith in the jaw thing.
One of his teammates, I guess, like Geno owed the teammate money or something. So one day in the locker room, he just punched him in the face, broke his jaw.
During
got
training
cut,
camp.
and then it was during training camp, or close to preseason, and then Fitzpatrick took over, and then Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, Fitzpatrick was insane, and then that was the end of Geno.
Yeah.
Right. As soon as Fitzpatrick came in and did that, it was like, okay, Geno's been holding us back these years. Fitzpatrick still didn't get the playoffs, but he at least did that.
And the thing is, it was like the fourth string linebacker.
Oh yeah, it was some random player I've never heard
It
of.
was just some random dude who
Ike something. I think his name was
Yeah.
Ike, but I can't even remember his name. But yeah, I'd never heard of him before. He got released. I don't think he ever got picked up again. Like that was the end of his career. It was such a stupid decision on his part.
Okay, y'all. So during this,
kids,
I typed in Geno Smith broken jaw, and of course, I found a story from ESPN as recently as 2022, and it was originally published on on August 11, 2020, but was recently updated to reflect current event. I cannot believe I'm starting to remember this now. Y'all remember Todd Bowles? They had to do an impromptu press conference. Todd Bowles walked up to the podium and said, "You're gonna want a tape recorder for this."
I love Todd Bowles. He gets such a bad rap, but I really like Todd Bowles.
And then his next statement was, "Yeah, Geno Smith is gonna miss like 6 weeks because of a broken jaw, a fractured jaw, because of a sucker punch by Ike Inekambali."
Insane.
I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name, dude.
Yeah, don't come after us. We didn't know.
My fault. I'm the guest.
We haven't heard about you in 5 years, my man.
5 years. This was 10 years ago. This is 2015, right?
Yeah.
Good
This
lord.
is a decade ago. That's insane.
Wrecked Geno's whole career.
I think the Jets organization.
Sure,
Because
yeah.
I mean, because he wasn't great before. Like if Geno was good, like if he was as good in Seattle as he was before that, I mean, when Fitzpatrick was gone, he would have got the starting job back. Right? Like they would have. Okay, it was just the 1 year with Fitzpatrick. We captured Magic and want to see how far we go. Okay, we missed the playoffs. It's Geno's job next year. But he was bad enough before that they were looking for reasons to get out of him. 2 years later, they drafted Sam Darnold and started the whole process all over again. Who's now on Seattle?
Who's now in Seattle. It's life is a flat circle. For anyone who cares, the Pacers are
okay.
down
So
11.
Mans had invited Geno Smith to one of his camps, and he paid for Geno Smith to get out there and his hotel. So he spent about $1,200. Geno Smith never showed.
Oh,
So he was tight about that.
Okay.
So to offset it, he said, "Let's just split the cost of the $1,200." So Geno owed him $600, and every time he would ask Geno for the money, he ain't respond. He just blew it off.
Oh, okay.
He ain't want to give him the $6. The one day,
the way it was presented, it sounded like they were gambling, poker game, whatever.
Yeah,
and,
I thought it
Austin
was,
didn't pay up, right? But yeah,
I feel like it's not justified to sucker punch, but I understand where the punch came from.
oh for sure. Like I understand the anger, but was that $1,200 doing that worth it, risking his whole career over, right?
He thought about that. That was a principle thing. That was he think I'm a bitch.
he hit him with a uppercut cross to the jaw.
Yeah, you don't organically come out in that combination. That was premeditated.
Yeah,
He
really.
think I'm a punk because he's the starting quarterback. I got something for that.
He's not the starting quarterback anymore.
I'm a wreck it. And you know what he probably did? He probably looked at a teammate and was like, watch this. And then went over and wrecked Geno.
They said that brother Geno was kind of fucked up after that.
Yeah. Can you imagine taking an uppercut and a cross without expecting it? How many times in your life has someone hit you with a 2-piece and you not expecting it?
Not many.
Not ever for me. I'm too pretty.
I don't think it happened to me when I was expecting.
I've got punched in my face once in my life, and I was like, I'm good on that. Never again.
All right, Danny. Before we get out of basketball, T-Wolves or Warriors, and how many games?
Wolves in 6. Give me Ant.
All right, last basketball thing. When we talk about the losers for round 1, you know where I'm going to go. Of course, I'm going to go right to my Los Angeles Lakers that lost.
Mm-hmm.
Did Nico know something?
Fuck no, he didn't. I don't like this. Like, this Nico is right. Nico was dead wrong, but he had a point. Like, I don't think it was a secret that Luka is usually out of shape and doesn't play defense. But you know what else is true? He led you to the finals last year on one leg.
Honestly, the more I watched Luka throughout the playoffs in the regular season, I was like, okay, it's clear this brother in defense, they don't go together.
But the frustrating thing is, when he wants to, he can be an average defender. Like, he's not going to lock anyone down, but that shit he does on fast breaks, where he just stands there and like throws his leg out and throws. Can't happen.
Here's the thing, though. He does so much on a basketball court that if his one Achilles heel is he don't play defense, look, we just got to get some PJ Tucker type beats.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
You got to get some people who do know how to play.
Only there was a roster constructed in the NBA for Luka's skill set, maybe he could win. If only that existed.
I agree.
And the Dallas Mavericks have a very strong defensive core.
You know, the Mavericks just have wing defenders and 2 rim-running centers. You can just, man, if only Luka had some wings and some centers, what he could do.
Maybe the Mavericks should trade for Luka Doncic.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's crazy. The whole time I was watching the T-Wolves series, I was like, yo, we
so sorry, Danny.
Davis type beat. Like, I was like, yo, if we had an Anthony Davis type player on our team, I feel like
imagine maybe the Lakers should trade.
Maybe the Lakers should call Nico and trade for Anthony Davis.
And then I'm like, all right, you know what? It's clear that the Lakers lost because that's how I know this trade was so abnormally out the blue that when you watch both teams, you literally say, yo, I think this team just needs the player they traded away.
But you know what's funny? Nico is now the mark of the NBA. What you want to bet Rob Pelinka going to call him this summer? Like, what you want for Derek Lively? What can I get for Daniel Gafford?
No, he won't.
I promise you. Nico is the mark. He's the sucker. People going to be calling him, offering him peanuts. And he's like, that's actually not a bad idea. I promise. He got something stupid up his sleeve this summer. I can feel it.
It's funny because maybe this transitions perfectly to our next topic, but in a dynasty league, when you see a trade go through and it's like, this is so bad, who sent away the good piece? What else could I fleece off of them? Clearly. It's funny because I made a trade earlier this year and then I just kept getting trade offers after.
Here we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially reached the fantasy portion of our talk. For a lot of you, I know if you're in the fantasy world, you probably had your rookie draft last week. Before we get into our all money in rookie draft, I did want to start by kind of talking through another rookie draft that I had. This is a 12-team super flex league. Last year was our first official season, and you already know.
Is this the league you're in with Bam too?
Yes.
Okay.
You already know I was El Campione. I am the OTC, the original TNA champion. It feels great, but that was last year, and now we're looking forward to this year. So this was the league that I made that Tajay Spears trade.
Okay. Yes,
yep.
I remember that.
Everyone was like, "That's a bad trade." I still think it's a. I still like.
You remind us because I remember you talked about it. I can't remember what you gave up.
So I traded away Amari Cooper, 112, 212, and somebody else, and the person who I was trading with, his 3rd round pick that he had previously traded me, and I got Tajay Spears and 209.
See, I think the problem is I think I'd rather just have the 112. That's I'm guessing in super flex leagues you might have a chance at Jackson Dart, but I've seen in some leagues he does. Otherwise, it's Ibaka, maybe a tight end, maybe Caleb Johnson. Like you're the 12th, even 13th overall players. I think I'd rather have that player than Spears straight up. So. I can see why people seem to think like they prefer that side.
Yeah, no, I'm on the in the league chat. I'm on the opposite end. A lot of people favor the other side, but once the player I wanted at 112 was Brashul Tootin. Not gonna lie, but I knew if I traded back, no one's gonna take Tootin that early.
You probably could get him with the 206. So
I got him at 209.
Okay, yeah.
So I also earlier in the offseason traded for Travis Etienne.
So say if you like Bashal Tootin, I could see why you like Tajay Spears. They seem like very similar players. So yeah. I guess that logic does make sense.
Yep. So
now you hold the Jags back.
So
starter this year in Etienne, starter next year in Tootin.
Yep.
Maybe not. We'll see.
So at 209, I took Brashul Tootin. My next pick was it was 312, which I used to pick Harold Fannin, the tight end out of Bowling Green. I don't know what to think about that one, but we'll take it. And then my 4th round pick was Quinn Ewers. I picked him with 412. Quiet as kept, I actually wanted Will Howard at this pick, but he got nabbed like 2 or 3 picks right before. So I had to go Quinn Ewers because I did need a quarterback because the QBs on my roster are Patrick Mahomes, Jaden Daniels, Aaron Rodgers, and now Quinn Ewers is in my taxi squad. So,
I think I do like that build from a sense that you can go really cheap at your QB3. Like your QB3, you want to spend as little capital as possible, right? Like if you need a spot start in season, trade a third for like 1 or 2 weeks of production to cover bye weeks or an injury. Right? Like that's pick up Mariota, pick up Gardner Minshew if you can, just to get cover yourself for injuries. But like Daniels Mahomes is a really good combo where you don't really need to invest heavily in your third QB. How often are you really going to start them? When are the Mahomes matchups so bad that you're going to say, I'm going to start my QB3? So that team build, I like that.
Yep.
It was, now I guess a couple of things, like just on was Riley Leonard available? That's the only thing where.
QB? I don't think so. Let's see.
Because he would be to me like the skill set of a runner where if he ever got in a game, he could have like high upside on a 1 or 2 week basis. Because like the thing with Quinn Ewers is he's probably not getting more than just a handful of starts while you have him on your team. He's not gonna, if he does start for an extended period of time, it's not going to be planned. I suppose the Miami offense, high upside enough weapons that if he were to start in that, you'd like it. But it feels like Leonard's skill set would lean to higher fantasy ceiling. If he were to start.
Would you rather roster Spencer Rattler or Riley Leonard?
My first thought is Spencer Rattler, just on it seems like it's so easy for him to get starts this year. If they don't sign Rodgers, if Carr really is out for the year, it's him and Tyler Shuck and Jake Haener, I guess. Like the thought of Rattler getting starts seems very plausible. So I'm guessing you're just looking at quarterbacks that are available after that, or is the draft still going?
Nah, the draft's over. I'm just looking at QBs. Riley Leonard is still available, so I could.
Yeah. I mean, you can take a ton of be really deep at quarterback with a bunch of I've got 2 starters and the rest are all just backup quarterbacks. Get as many backups as you can. Right? Like, one thing you probably don't need is it a tight end premium league?
It is.
So you might have some depth at tight end, but I think one of the things on dynasty rosters that maybe we overdo is wide receiver depth. That's a position where you rarely ever starting your wide receiver 9.
Yeah, you're right.
Especially if you got really good, strong receivers, you can go pretty thin at that position and be a lot deeper at quarterback and running back.
Starting wide receivers: Tyreek Hill, Ladd, Khalil Shakir, Calvin Ridley. I got Brandon Cooks, Wan'Dale Robinson on the bench. Then in waivers, I picked up Jalen Lane, Dante Thornton, Savion Williams, which I'm actually really big on Savion Williams, and that's just not the homer in me. I'm really big on Savion Williams. I think he's going to be really good at Green Bay. So I don't know. I might think. What these are like players like what the hell? I'm never going to start a Wandale Robinson, but I can't drop him.
He gets too many targets. I think the mistake was picking up that many receivers. Like frankly, D, I'm not a big Savion Williams fan. I did not like that pick for the Packers. But to be fair, D, I have not liked basically everything the Packers have done this offseason. So why would I like any other draft picks? and I know for fantasy, like they've already started talking about him like, oh, we might get him some like designed running back packages out of the backfield. Like, man, they're going to struggle he's going to struggle so much as a receiver compared to everyone else that they're just like they're trying to find ways to just justify taking him now. It seems like almost he can do this random thing. Like he seems like such a non-fantasy valuable. I mean, who were the other two receivers you picked up? Because at least he was a third rounder. The other two,
Dante Thornton from the Raiders and Jalen Lane for the Commanders. Since I have Jaden Daniels.
I mean, Jalen Lane, yeah, that you love his quarterback. Like that might be Dante Thornton on the Raiders. What is he ever going to do? Right? Like that, I'd rather just any like Rattler or Leonard. I'd rather have any quarterback. I know you just picked him up, but I drop him out again. Sabotage drop.
I mean,
know that he's desirable enough to be picked up. Maybe someone else will waste a roster spot on him when they see that you've dropped it.
That's funny.
I don't know. I think you have much more upside with one of those quarterbacks just getting a random spot start somewhere. If it coincides with the week where you're on bye week, maybe like that lines up where you don't even have to trade for a quarterback. You just insert them into the lineup for a random week and just to have the body QB. Rattler does, I think, in theory, like pose well for that. I mean, I don't think it's out of the question that he starts week 1.
Achilles said, "I got robbed." I'm gonna be honest with you. Fuck them picks. Fuck them. I don't believe that was robbed at all. Tajay Spears is going to be really good. And I watched Tony Pollard get stuffed at the 1 4 times in a row. He ain't moving.
Tony Pollard got hurt last year.
Exactly why I'm big on Tajay Spears.
Fair enough.
So you're thinking the starting role is accessible this year? Because my thought was, okay, is this something that like by the end of his rookie contract he'll be the starter? But
I think Tajay will be starting sooner than we think he will.
And I think from that perspective, it makes sense for you then to like where Achilles saying you're robbed is that he clearly doesn't value Spears like that. I tend to agree with him. So, you might be wrong.
I saw him kicking up towards the end of last year. All right, let's get into the all money in rookie draft. What an interesting draft. Glad that it's over. Where do we want to start?
Should we hide the chat overlay just for this?
Yeah, I got you. There we go. Should I full screen this? Let's see. I thought I hit the chat overlay. Hold on, let me take that off. Here we go. Is that better?
Yeah, it's great, I think. You can at least see most of it, yeah. So, yeah.
But you guys can keep talking. Keep chatting in the chat.
Let's talk about it. Where we want to start at? Let's start with Dan. Talk to me about your draft picks at 102.
Yeah, so I tried to act like I was going to trade 102. I wasn't. Let's talk about what I was thinking about this draft. So the goal for this draft was my running back room needed to get younger. I needed to address quarterback with Superflex coming down the pipe next year. And I wanted to fortify my tight end room because Dalton Kincaid has underperformed. Like that was the thought. 1, 2, 3, running back, quarterback for next year. And then, if I could get a tight end who I think would be serviceable since now it's a premium, like grab a tight end. So that's kind of where my head was. Hampton was always going to be 102. I was bullshitting when I was telling y'all number 2 was for sale. It definitely was not for sale unless someone wanted to give me Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, which wasn't happening. So beautiful. Ibuka, I did not expect him to be there. Like some of the mock drafts I did, that run of receivers, like you see that run, like I had Ibuka, and then it was Burton, Golden, Trey. I had kind of talked myself into Trey Harris. That 202 was the hardest pick for me this entire draft because I really wanted Trey Harris, but Ibuka was there. And like I had my pick. I knew I wasn't going to get T-Mac. I knew I wasn't going to get Travis Hunter, so I was going to get I didn't think I was going to get my pick of that second tier of receivers. So it took a second for 202 And then I just made up my mind, like stop overthinking it, and then took Ibuka. I was really happy about that. And then so that run of receivers pushed naturally Jackson Dart down. Jackson Dart.
Wait, which run are you talking about from 202 to
207? To you. Yeah, to 2-7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like those, like that 5, 6, 7. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that 6 pick span, that receiver, it pushed. Like I knew it wasn't going to get Warren or Loveland. I thought I might have a crack at one of the two if that receiver run had started with Bam or at the end of the first round. Like one of those tight ends might have fell to me, but it didn't. So I knew I had that second tier of tight end for me, like the Mason Taylor and the Arroyo. I had targeted them as well. So as the second round started to unfold, there was a real possibility I can get my hands on Mason Taylor and Jackson Dart. So like around Greg's pick, I start messaging Jason and Bam, and I reached out to Bam about Bam had the last pick in the second round. He had 210. So I reached out to Bam, said, "Hey Bam, would you be willing to give me 210?" And I sent him a package. He said, "No, I need to get younger." So Bam only has one quarterback on his roster, and that's Lamar Jackson. So he said that to me. And I was like, fuck, I'm going to lose out on Jackson because I'm not going to be able to jump to where Jason took Cam Scatterboo, because I knew he wanted Scatterboo. So I knew that was out of the picture. But I made a deal with Jason because Jason, Shits and Grins had 301. I said, if 301, if we get to 301, there's 2 people that I'm targeting. Like, would you be interested? He was like, yeah, let me see how the board falls. Because I think he had his eyes on Scatterboo too. So I was like, I'll trade, and I sent him the offer. Like, I'll give you 304 in the third next year to jump from 304 to 301. And he was like, sure. So I was able to get Mason Taylor, and I was able to get my QB Jackson Dart for Superflex. And the thought was, I had to reach out to Akili because Akili has a surplus of quarterbacks. I reached out to Akili about Michael Penix because I was really interested, and the price of Michael Penix is high. So in my mind, it was, I can do a pick swap with Shits and Grins and give up a third and have my potential starting Superflex QB, or I could pay Akili, a second and a player and maybe something else to get my hands on Drake May or Michael Penix. So the opportunity cost, if Jackson Dart sucks, then okay, I just lost my third round pick next year. And I still got a chance to get Mason Taylor, who's probably going to start for the Jets, and Justin Fields really loves tight ends. So that was kind of like the logic. My team is full. I think it's a playoff team now. I don't know if it's a contending team, but I'm thrilled with this draft. Like, I was elated on Sunday.
You feel like go ahead, Kyle.
I just think from the perspective of Dart real quick is you don't really need him to start this year. You've got quarterbacks.
Exactly.
This is more of a next year thing when it gets to Superflex. So you're really not worried if he spends the whole season.
Exactly. That was the thought. Like, I can grab him now for a third next year, or who knows what the board looks like next year. And now I'm, reaching out to Akili, and he's like, the price of the brick has gone up, and now I got to pay a fortune. Which I still might have to, because Jackson might play this year, and he might be ass, but the cost, like I said, the cost is worth it.
You said a second, a player. Like, did you guys have like a concrete offer discussed?
No, we
at least tell you to say that the offer was instead of actually saying the offer.
Let me check our chats. I think we didn't like. He kind of talked about what he was looking for. Like, it was never
actually sent offers, but there was verbal
I never sent an offer. We just
ideas.
kind of like start flushing out what that could look like for Michael Penix, and he wasn't.
So, Akili, you could also tell us the offer in the chat, and we can post it too.
Hold on, I'm going through our chats now because we talked for a while about it.
While you look for that, D, what were your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Are you talking about Danny's picks or my own?
Let's get your thoughts on Danny's picks.
I liked 102. I was hoping that Danny might go wide receiver, and in hopes that I would be able to maybe have a better chance of getting the Hampton. But no, I think 102 is great. I like Emeka Egbuka at 202. I'm not going to hold you. I thought Danny might actually try to go Matthew Golden or Trey Harris. So the Emeka Egbuka pick, I was not mad at. Jackson Dart, not gonna hold you. When I saw him draft Jackson Dart, I said, "Oh, that brother's starving."
I thought that was good value for a first-round quarterback. I mean, this is, to be
No,
fair,
not. It's. I'm with you guys. It is good value, but then I just kind of remembered his roster, and I was like, that brother, he needed a QB. Yeah, go ahead, bro. That's what I said. Go ahead, bro. Get your QB, brother, man.
It's funny because I think Penix was a third rounder too, and I think that's part of why Keely was like, "Well, I'll just take him in the third round. And, don't need him for a year or two." But
Kyle, he tried to learn from me because he saw how I got both Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy both in the third round. You know what I mean? Last year, so he's trying to follow because I went to the GMing school of High Road, so he's trying to learn. You know what I mean?
I mean, to be fair, I picked up Baker Mayfield on waivers last year.
So.
Yeah, that's so it's funny. I was about to talk myself into Matthew Golden, but I have been burned by Packers receivers so much the past 2 years. It was definitely like, man, fuck them. I'm not going anywhere. Because Jason texted me and was like, y'all really let Matthew Golden fall like that? And I was like, yes, I'm not touching him. But yeah, it was between Mecca and Trey. Like
when a team that never picks wide receivers in the first round picks one in the first round, I don't care if he wears the number 22. He's just good. I just hope that one of these days he changes it from 22 to 82 or straight 2. But that's a conversation for another day.
So Danny, I think that like it's really valid to say like this was a difficult decision. I was often talking about whether it was in streams or even in articles after the draft. This range of receiver, wide receiver 3 through wide receiver 7, I thought was one of the hardest spots to rank across the board. I guess maybe I'll give my arguments for it. Enough people have heard me. Achilles heard me ramble about this. Those 5 guys, and I mean it's those 5 guys taken. I'm not counting Jack Besh. He's very clearly, I think, a tier below those guys, even though he's a second rounder as well in the NFL draft. But his production profile is pretty awful. But I guess that's kind of where it starts, because before the draft, Luther Burden was my wide receiver too. He had by far the best production profile of these 5. But I think you can make the argument he also has the worst quarterback of these 5. Right now, Caleb is not as good as Baker Mayfield. He's not as good as Jordan Love. At least maybe that's the Packers' homer. He's maybe equal to Jordan Love.
No,
I don't think he is.
Jordan Love is better than Caleb Williams.
I'm actually pretty disappointed in Jordan Love's play last year. But I would say that part of me, I was hoping it wasn't just the positive Packers taking me that was making me say Love is better than Williams. I do actually believe that. But like clearly Stroud and Herbert are way ahead of Williams. So like Burden's got the best profile, but like the worst kind of overall situation when it's a crowded room and the worst quarterback of the group. Golden has the worst production profile of these 5. It's a lot closer to Jack Besh than it is anyone else. He's also a first rounder. Burden's a second rounder, and Golden, as much as I don't think it's going to be the case, he probably has the best chance to be the wide receiver 1 on his team. Because I mean, Egbuka maybe eventually does, but he's probably not going to as long as Chris Godwin or Mike Evans is on the team. Right. Burden's probably going to be really hard pressed to overpass Adunze. Trey Harris, he's not going to pass McConkey. And then same with Higgins, he's not passing Nico Collins. So like Golden, I think of all those receivers, Jaden Reed's probably the weakest, but I still think Reed is far superior to Golden. So I don't think he's actually going to hit that wide receiver 1 on the team, but that's maybe the argument. Egbuka, like that crowded landing spot, but he also got top 20 capital in the NFL draft. And he's got a pretty well-rounded profile, not quite to the same level as Burden, but pretty close. And Trey Harris probably actually ended up in the best spot. And Danny, I wonder if that's why you were strongly considering him.
Yeah,
it's an easy depth chart to overcome, aside from Ladd McConkey, but they need starting receivers. I mean, right now it's the other 2 starting outside receivers are Mike Williams and Quinn Johnston. So Harris can exceed to that starting role quickly, and he's got Justin Herbert. So like that situation's awesome, but he was taken like 55th overall. So outside the top 50, whereas all the other guys were top 50 picks, I mean top 40 picks. And I mean, Egbuka was again 19th overall. So they all have this like something amazing about their profile, but also something kind of bad. And then there's Jaden Higgins. He's got like the second best of everything. It's like the second best wide receiver depth chart. Yeah, he's never going to pass Nico Collins, but he could easily be the wide receiver 2 from day 1.
Yep.
CJ Stroud is really good. I don't think he's Justin Herbert level, but from what I've seen, I'd say Stroud's better than Love. Certainly better than Caleb Williams. Stroud's better than Baker. We're hoping Baker gets the level that Stroud's at. We're still hoping. That's not going to happen. So, and I think it's still another level for Stroud to get to. His production profile is not quite Luther Burden, but it's really close. So Higgins is almost the safest one because he's the one without a true wart in his profile, but he also has nothing outstanding like all the other guys have. So I'll just say I had a really hard time trying to rank them 3 through 7 and find an order. But ultimately, Danny, I do have Igbuka at wide receiver 3. I think the thing about him that we hesitate is, okay, Evans and Godwin are there, but how much longer is that really going to be the case? I don't think we should hold back Igbuka because everything else about him seems great. Just because it could be crowded. I mean, he could be the third target on the team as the wide receiver 3. Like, out target all the running backs, out target the tight end. And pretty happy with, like, not outstanding production, but it's at least something from the get-go. So, Danny, personally, I think
are you worried at all about McMillan for the Bucks if you're Igbuka?
Nah, I mean,
I think he jumps him
because McMillan struggled to do anything until Godwin got hurt. Right? Like, McMillan didn't show the capacity to overcome and really do, like, before Godwin got hurt, he was barely getting targets, and then he, we had to throw to him, and everyone else on the team really sucked, so he turned out to be the best. I agree with Danny. I think Igbuka is going to need, like, man, I don't think there's any player that's been hurt in Dynasty, like, value from the start of the offseason to now more than Jalen McMillan. He might have been a borderline top 40, top 30 wide receiver. Oh, Chris Godwin resigns. 3-year contract, too. Oh, because we thought, okay, the ankle injury, maybe the Bucks don't want to resign him, even if they do. Like, what shape is he in? Okay, that hurt him. And then, and now they take Igbuka in the first round. Like, I think Jalen McMillan's buried.
D, I think you're about to say that I had the best draft out of anybody, and you're really proud.
I think I like your picks. I think I look at my picks though for what I was able to do, and I say, yeah, I like where we're going here.
It's funny. It's similar picks, right? Judkins a little bit behind Hampton, Harris a little bit behind Igbuka, but the same kind of thinking. I like those guys in that range. I love the Devin Neal pick. Yeah. I was kind of hoping he and Ferguson were the two guys I was hoping would fall to me. Like, literally fall to the very end of the draft. I had the least amount of capital, so I do like your picks, D. I like the Judkins over Henderson take. I have it ranked that way, even though that's not the norm. So
it was tough because when I was looking in the first, the reason why I went with Judkins was obviously we know Genty, he'll probably have the biggest workload from this class. Hampton will probably be second. But then when I started thinking about some of these other rookie running backs and their potential to have like a large backfield share, I was like, look at the Browns running back roster. Jerome Ford doesn't scare me at all. I like my chances with Quinshon Judkins to be able to win that spot out and beat out, what was the other guy they drafted? Sampson. I like his opportunity to do that. And then with Trey Harris, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't really even need a wide receiver, but when I looked at the board, it was just like, this is clearly the best player available. Yeah. And I can just continue to strengthen my wide receiver room. And now my wide receiver room, because remember, I picked 102 last year. So we have Malik Neighbors, Khalil Shakir, Jamison Williams, Mike Williams, Jacoby Myers. Then we got Trey Harris. Still got some hope on Troy Franklin. I have a lot of hope in Kayshon Boutte for the Patriots. I think he's going to be a pretty good wide receiver. And then I got DeAndre Hopkins, who I'm hoping I can trade because he did come to me and ask to be traded, but at the same time, I feel like we can get D-Hop a ring here in Vegas. So yeah, we're feeling pretty good here in Vegas inside the war room. I think as I kind of look around at the competition, I'm just looking at Rojo's roster and it's fucking food. It's fucking food. I can't wait for the champ next season. We're gonna run his ass the fuck out the building. There's a few teams that are on my smoke list. Rojo, top of the list. Jason, Shits and Grins, top of the list. We got to run that matchup back again. I don't really like how that matchup. He should have beaten. And as usual, I do like playing. I do like beating Greg just so I can make fun of beating Greg. And then my Devin Neal pick, the Devin Neal pick was definitely it was a flyer. I'm not gonna hold you. I really wanted Jaden Blue, but say it took right before I did. He took a few players right before I did that. I was like, WTF, man, you must hate me in real life. Literally, Matthew Golden and Jaden Blue, those were my two guys. But
I can see why you want Golden for sure. I mean, Packers first rounder as well, though. But yeah, Jaden Blue got a great spot, but Devin Neal was my RB3 before the draft. So I think you got the better player, even if his situation might not be great. Actually, Saints isn't bad because we don't know how long Kamara has left. But man, it's just sixth rounder. That just sucks.
Yeah.
He went so late in the sixth round. There's they're not going to prioritize, and they can easily draft over him next year.
Yeah. But I also start thinking about the super flex starting next year. So knowing that I'll be starting Josh Allen with any combination of Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy, or Jared Goff. So I'm really trying to just make sure that tight end, that skill position player depth is there. And I think I'm getting there. I really think I'm getting there. And I'm just looking across the team. I think there's going to be a lot of parity this year. I think it is going to be tough to get 6 teams into the playoffs, but I'm excited to see who the 6 teams are. And I just can't wait to beat up on Rojo, beat up on Jason, beat up on Greg again. And everyone else is, usual. Oh, I started the season off versus Bam. Come on now.
I thought it was me.
No, I always reshuffle the schedule after the draft.
Yeah, I know, but I thought after the reshuffle, I thought it was still.
I got Rojo again. That's the second time. This is the second year in a row I faced Rojo week 1. And while you guys talk, so the offer I did make, Rojo, he put it. Yeah, I offered him 202. We talked about a second round pick next year, and then one of Connor Pollard, David Montgomery, and I wanted to pick spot 206 for Penix. And then he jokingly threw in Marvin Harrison in there too. Because why not? But yeah, that's what I offered for Penix in 206 because I wanted to pick in the second round.
Danny, we played this year.
No, I can see why Achille chose to reject that. I'm just going to stick with the quarterback. I think that would have been a good offer. It would have been a good trade for you, I think.
Yeah, but once he kind of turned that down, I was like, well, okay, if that's not even the floor to get a serviceable quarterback, then I might as well see if I can make a deal to get Jackson Dart in the 3rd round.
I will say Achilles. I mean, clearly, I think you know this now too. Though he's already pricing quarterbacks at superflex prices, even if it's not a superflex league this year. So he's probably not the person you want to buy a quarterback from this year. Well, next year, when everyone values them the same way, then it's kind of fair game. But I think this year you might want to still focus on other managers who are maybe still valuing the QB as well.
Well, here's the thing, Kyle. So I thought about that. And every manager who has a QB surplus, who has the ability to trade one, is already thinking, like if I had reached out to D about JJ McCarthy, I know for sure it would have been a super flex price. Like every person who has a QB that's viable for super flex, I feel like I would have gotten charged super flex because most of those guys who have a QB surplus are pretty smart and aren't thinking year to year, but 2 or 3 years.
I've got a QB surplus, and I'm not very.
Wait, who was on your roster, Kyle?
Geno Smith. We talked about Geno Smith last year.
Yeah,
during the season.
We talked about Geno Smith. Who has Jordan Love?
Indeed, right? Or no, he used to.
Rojo.
No, Rojo. Yeah, Rojo has just like this. Like he's going to clean up.
Y'all,
165 days.
Rojo, listen, stop talking that Rojo shit. His reign at the top was short like leprechauns. Stop talking that Rojo shit.
He has
he is the reigning champion. You're talking past tense. I know he won it last year, but he is still the defending champion.
Yeah, well, make sure when you bring up Rojo's team that you bring up the cup of sugar that is right next to, because this shit's sweet over there at Rojo's team. You tell him I said it too. God damn it.
He's listening to the podcast. You don't need to tell him.
He in here. But no, like Rojo has Penix, Love, Drake May. He's going to make a killing next year off someone who waited to the last minute. And I did not want to be that guy.
I mean, I feel like most people have.
Bam only has.
Exactly. Bam is the only one, right? But he's also, I mean, he's pushed it to the extreme. Right? Like Bam wants to win this year. he'll figure out the QB on Lamar's bye week for that 1 week, but he's just running it with Lamar.
I mean,
Lomar, whatever his name is, all
manager
year, as far as Lamar will run, which is pretty far and pretty fast. So I get the strategy, man. Like he's pushing it all in for this year, and he'll worry about Superflex when you got to worry about it. I'm not going to say anything further.
So I mean, even look at Greg's quarterbacks, right? Like we don't know what Caleb Williams is. We know what Justin Fields is. We kind of don't know who Bright. Like Greg could be in a situation next year where he's reaching out to Rojo or Kyle.
I mean, my four: Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, Tua Tagovailoa, and Anthony Richardson. Like, there's not a ton of long-term viability. Like, there is maybe for Mayfield and Tua, but there's also risk that there isn't. So, like, I'm also thinking I've still got to address QB next year too. But I'm happy with what I have now. I'll address it next year when it is super.
But the thing is, you won't be desperate, and you have like 6 first-round picks. Like you own the first round. I mean,
I guess I'll tell you now. That's kind of why I want first-round picks, because I feel like that's what's going to allow me to get the quarterbacks I really want to upgrade to. So, anyone who's got quarterbacks that are better than Baker Mayfield, you're probably going to get an offer from me.
So, I just like next year.
You're probably going to get an offer from me, Danny. It's
like
and I'm assuming you're going to have no interest in doing it, but.
Like next year, I think we're going to see a trade for a quarterback that's going to be so egregious. The whole chat is going to talk about throwing in veto in the owners' meeting for 2027. Like I think
I have a feeling I'm going to be the one that does it. I'll probably be the one to overpay. So
no, I don't think I think someone is going to be like, "Are you for real?" Like I didn't want to be that guy.
All right, y'all. We know
I know
that what y'all are talking about is bad. We know it's.
Again, I'm kind of almost already planning to do it though, right? Like that's why I'm accumulating all these extra firsts, because like I kind of want to just next year go after any player I want. Now I've got I can just overspend on some crazy massive deals. So if you see some really ridiculous deal, I'm kind of thinking it might be me that does it. So we'll see. Maybe it is Bam. Who knows? So
it's funny. Bam is talking about Shedeur right now in the comments. I had in my mind that the goal coming out was Shedeur and Arroyo the floor. And then somehow I got my hands on Mason Taylor and Jackson Dart. When I say how happy I was Sunday, like I went to pick strawberries with my wife. I was in the strawberry field doing the draft. And then when the draft was over, I was just over the moon. I'm so happy about my draft.
I'm pretty happy too, man. I really think last year's draft really helped set me up for this year's draft, which really helped me set up for the draft next year. I think the ability last year to draft both Bo Nix and J.J. McCarthy alongside already having Jared Goff and Josh Allen, to be honest with you, I'm building up depth. It wouldn't surprise me if the Horned Ducks next year are right on the precipice of making the championship run. But I can tell you now, it won't be Rojo and that sweet-ass fucking team.
Oh no, man. I feel like it's Rojo, shits and grins collision course.
Yeah, it was the final last year, right? So
well, not no more. We dead in that. Dead.
I think you said parity this year, right?
Oh yeah, a lot more parity.
I mean, last year I lost the first round bye. I lost out on that first round by 5 total points. We're talking about like over 2,200 points total scored through the season. The top 4 seeds, we all had the same record, but Akili and Jason got the first round bye, and it was by like I think I might have only had maybe 3 or 4 more points than Bam. So like the slimmest of margins last year for the first round bye, and guess what? I lose the first round. I can't remember if Bam did too. But
the Bam. You want to let the people know who you lost to first round last year?
It was you, right? I think I lost to Greg. I think I lost to Greg in the first round. So, like, it's funny how Bam and I weren't that far away from just automatically making it to the second round because of first round buys, right? So, like, I thought last year was super, super heavy parity. So I think it's just going to continue from what it was last year. I don't see much change. Like, it's going to come down to the slimmest of margins. There's almost even the first or second team that misses the playoff is going to be a good enough team that if they make it, could have won it.
Oh yeah, the first team out of the playoffs is likely going to be fighting for 101, and they're probably going to have a serious claim at it.
Player haters ball.
It's the play. It was
a little bit. Last question on the rookie draft, and then we can chat a little bit of NHL playoffs. I forgot my question.
Are there other teams you want to look at too? Like we can isolate kind of any manager and just see. Like you said, Shea, he basically just kept sniping you the whole time. Golden, blue, doesn't have much capital.
Yeah. Can we look
Dylan, of course, never traded any pick.
Never.
Hey, quiet. This is a good draft.
No, I mean, well, yeah, no, I thought he picked well. Like stick and pick, like he drafts well enough, and he's active enough on waivers that he can justify never making a trade in a dynasty league. He's still managing to at least like the team isn't completely awful. Now he didn't make the playoffs, and he wasn't good enough to win the first round of the consolation bracket, which benefits Danny getting Amari and Hampton.
Hey.
So he might end up being stuck picking that third, fourth.
Purgatory.
But what's funny is he made the championship game like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think he played me, didn't he?
No, I think he played Greg because he lost. He ended up losing.
I think he lost to Greg that year. Yeah.
Yeah. So
can we go to Shits and Grins draft real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Boo.
Oh,
I don't know, man. Like the Scatterboo pick. I'm glad Scatterboo didn't get
like that for real.
I don't, but I think that's why
I like that better than the Jack Besh pick.
What's your beef with Jack Besh?
Well, again, the production profile, it's awful. I can pull it up. Share that too, but, so one of the things I look at with receivers, or there's a few production metrics I look at with receivers. Here, I'm gonna.
While you do that, Kyle, the chat is that's what I get. Sugar. The chat was. Oh, did you stop sharing your screen, Kyle?
I will temporarily share it back again.
I got you. Okay, I thought that was me.
Nope, totally me.
Well,
all right, let's look at Jack Besh. Look at these numbers. So his career average dominator rating, which is percentage of teams' yards and touchdowns. His career average was 12.1. Like, look at everyone else in this class. Like, these are all the players right ahead of him. Some guys even drafted later. Like, but you look at those second rounders. This, like, again, 3 through 7 tier. Like, 12.1 is so much further back. Like I mentioned, Luther Burden, 31.7 for this. His production profile is insane. Jack Besh, because he never broke out, right? Like the BOA breakout age at 20% dominator, he never hit it because his career average was 12.1. One of my favorite stats to look at is receiving yards per team pass attempt. I look at a player's career average in college, but then also his single season best. His single season best isn't awful, 2.12. Matthew Golden's single season best. And I don't love the Packers receivers. Like Savion Williams' production profile is awful too. But one, like he barely hit that one receiving yard per team pass attempt for his whole career. We've seen recently these receivers go really early with such awful production profiles, and it doesn't hit. I think of Jalen Polk last year. Like that seemed like a mistake that the Patriots made. We all knew it when it happened. But then but he's a second rounder. We'll talk ourselves into drafting him, and it blows up in our face, and he does nothing. And it's like, well, we should have known because he was awful. Kadarius Toney was a first rounder, and we like. I know some people were saying, shout out to Gerson. I know maybe not your favorite person, D, but I remember Gerson and I did a draft stream together, and that Saturday, as Amon-Ra St. Brown went off the board on the fourth round, day 3, he was saying, "I'm taking Amon-Ra ahead of first rounder Kadarius Toney. I don't care." The production profile, who this player is so much better. And guess what? Gerson was right on that. You took Kadarius Toney ahead of Amon-Ra St. Brown. You strictly just followed first round capital, which I do tend to like to do. But so again, like Besh, like 58th overall, it's good, but I'll take these third and fourth rounders ahead of him just because of this. So
what's his name? Alec Ayomanor? This guy's a fucking beast. That's the Stanford guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Stanford, right? And part of this 40.1% dominator, Stanford had no one else to throw to. So you're gonna see that in the players whose offenses are like, man, there's so little there. Like they're just gonna get that dominator rating. His receiving yards per team pass attempt career 2.3. Like it's almost as high as Ted McMillan and Jaden Higgins, 2.5 lead in the class. It's just I guess he never really elevated further than that. 2.38 was his single season best. So that's the one area where So essentially, like he was accounting for so much of their yards, but I think that the takeaway was they just didn't throw very much. So he had a huge percentage, but then, you know, it just seemed like maybe they wasn't an overall good offense to be part of. But yeah, AMN, I like the stats. Like I like his production profile. Just looking at this a lot better than I do Jack Besh. So I'm kind of fading Jack Besh. So I thought he went even in a 1 QB league here. I'll share this now. I just thought he went too early. So yeah, that's why I hate Jack Besh. But yeah, I like the Scattaboo pick more than Besh. I thought it was a little early on Warren, but I mean, if he was thinking Warren or Loveland, he wouldn't have got one at 207. If Jason really thought those were the only 2 tight ends worth taking, unless he was able to trade down, you kind of had to just take one at 107. I guess the problem with trading down was that it's NBC 10 that has all these picks, right? So if he was content not taking Warren, I mean, clearly, because he even traded up from the 201 to the 110 to not take a tight end. So NBC 10 probably is really happy the way this went. Like, he got his quarterback. Ted McMillan was the best value there, and then just hammered home 2 running backs. I much as it wasn't my favorite person in this past week, I gotta say, I think he killed it with the draft. I think all 4 of these picks are really smart.
Even better than me?
Oh, well, the thing, no, I mean, he didn't have the 102 Hampton though, right? Like that was a very easy pick. Like if you're just flat out taking who got the best draft haul, you're gonna make the argument because like Greg only got Genty. It's not only did you get Hampton, who's almost as good as Genty, you left with Igbuka as well. And you got a QB in the 3rd round. Like, no, for sure. Like, you probably have the best draft haul.
That's all I wanted to hear. Thank you guys for joining the show tonight.
I mean, his draft haul was cool.
You know who got the worst draft haul, though? It has to be me, right? Because I literally only had 1 pick, and it was the very last pick of the draft.
But it's funny. There was a time. Go ahead, Kyle. I'm sorry.
I tried to trade up. This 301 pick here, I sent Jason what pick was it? So I guess it would have been the 310, right? Because, you traded the 306, right? Is that where you went from?
Yeah, I gave him 306 in my 3rd next year to jump.
I sent him 310 in my 3rd next year. So
okay,
your pick was just good enough to make it. I was going to trade up to draft Terrence Ferguson. So he's been my tight end 3 since before the draft, and getting 2nd round capital to the Rams, an offense that has really had good, strong tight end usage. Like that's. You mentioned it, like Fields likes tight ends because we saw him do well with Komet. But man, the Jets tight end has been just this like wasteland, and I think part of that is the coaching staff. It's so tough to get consistent coaching staff with the Jets.
Yeah,
but like with the Rams, we know McVay, the tight end, whoever's their starting tight end, will get targets. They will be featured enough. They'll pass enough as well. And Jake Ferguson's relative athletic score was like 9.32. I think it was the 2nd highest of any tight end this year. So I was instantly like attracted towards him as the tight end 3 just because of that. Then you give me the 2nd round capital with this landing spot, easy. So I thought that was really good value. I would have taken it at the start of the 3rd, and I got it at the end of the 3rd. So kind of happy that he fell to me essentially as the ideal 3rd round pick.
I had fun. So I was Kyle. Is funny because I didn't think I was going to get Mason Taylor. So it was I had made in my mind as it went between Arroyo and Ferguson.
What are your thoughts on Fannin as a tight end?
Oh, I like him too. I think, if we were a 4th round draft, he would have gone. I think I easily have him as the 6th tight end. Huge tier break after that. I think if you're in a 4-round rookie draft, you shouldn't draft the tight end 7. Like to me, it's after Fannin, it drops off so much that he's like the last tight end worth drafting. So you mentioned you took him in your draft, right, D?
Yeah, I took him in my 4-round rookie pick with my 3rd.
Yeah, I think he makes sense. Like I know there's Aronde, I think Gradison. I think he is my tight end 7. I don't love him enough. Like his RAS score wasn't amazing, and I know it's the Chargers, it's great, but they do have other options at tight end. Tyler Conklin, Will Dissly. I don't know that he's good enough to overcome them, and it might take a while. So I view Gradson more as like a priority free agent waiver pickup. But yeah, I think Fannin is the last tight end worth drafting. Njoku's contract's just 1 more year. So as early as next year, he could be the starting tight end. Which, who knows who's the quarterback. But he might have that role. So I think
be the quarterback.
I mean, doesn't Dylan Gabriel have a better shot?
Nah.
Just as a third rounder in the same draft?
Dylan Gabriel will be playing the flute, telling people where he's going to be drafted.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Browns' 2026 quarterback isn't on the roster right now.
Yo, that would be like Hall of Fame hilarious, but I could see it too just because they didn't high draft.
Unless Flacco wants to come back, right? Like, is this a, like, in Flacco's mind, is this more than 1 year? I think he's maybe just approaching it as a 1 year thing, and I'm sure so the Browns are. He might want to just retire after this year. But let's say Flacco gets most of the season, he plays well enough that Sanders or anyone else doesn't get on the field. The Browns have no other option. Do they just bring Flacco back again? Keep running it back, like, let's just try and win as much as we can now. We've got Myles Garrett. We're paying Myles Garrett this much money. Let's try and win with him, right?
That's fair.
And Flacco's like really cheap way to make it happen because Watson's still under contract next year, and it's still next year costs them more to get rid of them than it does to keep them. So he's like, I think his dead cap next year is like 130 million. So you can't cut him. Like, you can't trade him. You have to keep him on the team. So whatever $60 million cap hit, you just have to eat it next year because it's. But then it's it. After 2026, he's done. So you just have like one more year of this Voldemort contract. Which, again, I've made this joke before, but it's kind of an insult to Voldemort, right? To compare Watson to Voldemort. And yet Voldemort is this like psychopath murdering wizard who's almost kind of a little racist and is like kind of into like supremacy of a certain race. Like, Voldemort's not really that far from Hitler, and yet we're it's an insult to call Watson that. So that's how bad Watson is. But yeah, we can end. That's maybe the sign to end football and go to hockey.
All right, we can get through hockey pretty fast here. Great stuff on the fantasy football, guys. So right now we're in the semis of the NHL playoffs.
No, not quite yet. It's
still the first round.
No, second round.
Second round. That's what I meant. I meant second round.
Yeah.
Second round.
It used to be called the conference semifinals. Now it'd be like the divisional finals and the conference finals. They've kind of almost aligned it to be more like the NHL or the NFL.
Thank you, Kyle. All right, second round of the NHL playoffs. We are here. Toronto Maple Leafs are up 1-0 on the Panthers. No, not
Florida Panthers.
They are
ending champs, Florida. And last year they played Toronto in the second round, or maybe that was 2 years ago, and like they crushed them immediately. Like game one was they scored almost immediately, and it was never close. Toronto got the first couple goals, and they almost blew it, but they managed to hold on and get the win. But that's huge for Toronto's psyche to not be chasing the series finally. I mean, we talk about cup droughts. Toronto hasn't won a cup since 1967. We're talking about Vince Lombardi three-peat with the Packers that long ago. So
it's gracious.
Oh, yeah,
The last time they won, there were only 6 teams in the NHL.
67,
68 was the very first year of the original expansion when they expanded from 6 to 12. And since then, Toronto has not been able to win. So this is like, it's in the middle of Canada. It's like one of the most hockey mad places on earth is like the Toronto area. So the immense pressure on this team to perform in the playoffs is insane. Could this finally be the year where they get past that? I mean, they haven't even been to the final since then, since 67. So even just getting to the final would be, man, maybe the city of Toronto would explode. Yeah. Just getting to the final. So maybe that's too dangerous. We don't want to see that.
They ain't won since Jim Crow era, so hopefully. All right, Kyle, as we kind of wrap up, I need your picks. Jets versus Stars. Who do you think wins and in how many games?
So my original bracket, I had the Jets making it all the way to the finals. Now, the thing with they're both set up where they're both missing key players right now. Their top defenseman for both teams is out. One of their top forwards is out. For the Jets, it's their top centerman, Mark Scheifele. For the Stars, I think it's their leading goal scorer, Jason Robertson. So, like, and I mean, to a certain extent, I think all four, so the top defensemen are out. Josh Morrissey for the Jets, Miro Heiskanen for the Stars. He's been out since he got hurt. I think he got hurt in January, February. So he's missed a ton of time. I think it might have even been before Christmas. So there's an expectation at some point that all these players will return, but how quickly and how good a shape will they be in? Who knows? But that was enough. Like, these teams are still good and deep enough that they were able to overcome that in the first round and win those series, even though they're playing against some pretty talented Both have incredible goalies. They probably have the two best American-born goalies in the league. Connor Hellebuck for the Jets. Oh my God, I can't. Jake Ottinger. Just forgot his name. For the Stars. So I think I'm sticking with the Jets. Just my original prediction that they'd go all the way to the finals. And the team I had them beating them in the finals in the bracket is the Tampa Bay Lightning. They got eliminated in the first round. So it shows what I know, but I don't know. There's something about this Jets team. I mean, Connor Hellebuck, he's nominated for the Vezina, which is best goalie of the year. He's almost surely going to win it because he's also nominated for the MVP. So it's almost a given that he's going to go back-to-back Vezina trophy wins. And last year he was the best goalie in the league and totally collapsed in the playoffs. That almost happened again this year. It was weird. The Jets Blues series in the first round was a wild playoff series I've seen. 2 games. The pace and the speed was incredible. 2 of the best games of hockey I've ever watched. It's so physical and like how I wonder if it was tough to keep that pace up for a whole playoff run, let alone the series. But it was really tightly contested games. So the Jets ended up winning those first 2 games at home, really close matches. And the 3 games they lost in St. Louis were all massive blowouts where Connor Hellebuck got pulled all 3 times. Oh. So it was Jets winning close games or getting blown out completely by the Blues. And Game 7 was a close game, so they ended up winning. They scored the tying goal in regulation with 1.6 seconds left. They were that far away from being eliminated, and then in double overtime got the win. So from the Blues standpoint, they were so close to advancing, and that's got to be a little heartbreaking. But for the Jets to be on the brink like that and come back, that shows some resiliency. Now on the other side, the Stars they played Game 7 as well. They were losing going into the third period, and Miro Heiskanen, their big trade deadline acquisitions, and they gave this like 8-year, 7-year, $12 million per year $1 million contract to massive deal. You got a hat trick in the third period to lead them to the win. So it was immediate dividends. So both teams showed when it mattered most, Game 7, third period, literally last second of the game, they got it done. So both teams have that in them. But I don't know, just something about the Jets. I think they've really exercised some demons. I think since this core, they went to the conference final in 2018. It was Vegas's first year in the league, and Vegas upset them in the conference final to actually get to the Cup final, losing to Ovi and the Capitals. Since then, the Jets have won 1 playoff series, and they make the playoffs almost every year. So, I mean, now it's 2 playoff series, right? So that was a big monkey off their back that this core had kind of needed to happen, whereas Dallas has gone on deep playoff runs the last few years. So I feel like for the Jets, exercising those demons, I think, might be the thing that lets them play freer in the future rounds. And I think they can get all the way. I think they can still win it all.
You know, when we speak of exercising those demons, I don't mean to. I mean, stepping away from hockey sports back in. Let's. There's some demons I want to exercise. Bam and Achilles. He's fucking in the fucking comments right now.
Yeah, we can.
I just want to acknowledge some tomfoolery. So Bam said I was going to trade into the first round and take Cam Ward, but the draft start time was changed. So Achilles said they skipping this topic, and then Bam said this is collusion at its finest. Let me tell you 2 dummies something. You two. First off, 1, there is no collusion. Second, Achilles, I need you to be honest because you were one of the main proponents and the main pushers of can we start this draft earlier?
Whoa. I want to push back on this because I went back through and read everything. And Achilles did push for the slow draft. He never pushed for starting it early, though. So I will defend him on that. He was one of the proponents of saying, let's do a slow draft. And that's the thing that bothered me. I think the slow draft was a better idea. Really wish someone would have made it for a proposal in these designated league meetings where we have changes and proposals. That would have been nice. Probably coming up next year. I think almost assuredly.
Wow, you saw how I was just chilling, minding my business. Then tried to fight him off. I was like, yo, we not doing this.
But I think it would have been fine to even just go to a slow draft if we started on Sunday, right? Just start the day it's supposed to start, right? Like that would have been okay. I would have been okay with that. But it's the accelerate, right? And those are 2 different decisions. You could have decided let's do a slow draft without advancing the day further. So that's where my whole gripe is starting the draft early, and I'm with Ban on that. Like that's.
Can we the biggest in all this. Bam, you ain't got the juice to trade up for shit right now.
Not only do he not have the juice, he would have got that first round pick and would have picked some bullshit. It would have picked somebody that everyone would have been, Bam would have got 107 to go back and pick fucking Terry Bradshaw with pick 107.
He
talking about y'all.
He would have drafted Ferguson at 107 when Cal got him at 310. Like, Bam, you didn't have the draft could have started whenever. You didn't have the juice to jump up to grab Cam Ward. That's the shit that's getting me right now, brother. You ain't have what it took.
You ain't have the facilities for that big man. What would you rather do? Okay.
Bye, guys. All right.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a great podcast. We want to give a special thanks to our guy Kyle for coming through, talking some NHL, talking some fantasy, talking some basketball with us. It's been a great day. Listen, make sure you follow the pod, Speak On It _pod across social. Follow Ghost D Mix on Instagram, SoundCloud, Mixcloud. Follow Danny Ocean 41. Follow Kyle Senra. Senra says, where can they listen to you, Kyle, for more?
Yeah, so I co-host the Dynasty 6-Pack, and we'll be recording basically 24 hours from now. We're live every Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, on the Fantasy 6-Pack YouTube channel. We love talking Dynasty. We'll be talking through rookie drafts, and we're actually going to be talking through the All Money In rookie draft tomorrow night. So it's my only rookie draft that's actually completed at this point, so I have to pick this one. But we talk so much Superflex that I do love the concept of talking about a 1 QB draft.
Next tomorrow night and let them know what a championship team is about to look like, because I'm about to kick Achilles' team's ass next year in the playoffs.
So tomorrow night, it's me, my co-host Jamie, and Rahul, and each of us are going to bring a completed rookie draft that we've been part of, and we're just going to go through the whole draft a little bit like we did tonight, but we're just going to focus on that. And we also do a trade of the week every week, and what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 trades of the week, one for each of those drafts, trades that happen during the draft. So Achilles will be talking about your trade. Because it was the earliest one that happened during the draft. There's my trade that happened a month before the draft, which is again part of. Sorry,
talking about my trade or Danny's trade?
Well, but actually several trades. I think all of us made a trade about a month before the draft, but Achilles made one while the pick were on the clock. Right?
Okay.
It was the moving down from 110 to 201, just that the one spot move down that MVC 10 really wanted Caleb Johnson for.
I made my I don't know what me and Achilles traded last year for us to trade first and second round picks. Thank you. And this guy didn't want to trade the picks back.
Well, and here's the thing. I know Achilles likes Travion Henderson more than Judkins. So as far as the first round's concerned, he's happy the way that turned out. He's still got Henderson.
Listen, he can take the players I don't want, because the players I do want, we're gonna walk into his crib week 9 and kick his team's ass. Now, Bam, you got 2 ass whoopings coming your way, week 1 and week 10. You got 2 ass whoopings coming your way. But Achilles, week 9, you might. And after I beat you, I really might mail that belt. As Bam said, Ron Isley's tax returns getting audited this season.
We over here chilling.
I love the Hampton pick. That should be a.
We are excited for
because I've seen the debate in some leagues. I've seen some leagues where he's not the 102. Was there any debate for whoever you view as your wide receiver 1?
Say what again? I'm sorry, Kyle.
Was there any thought in your mind of going with your wide receiver?
Oh hell no! It was Hampton.
That's fair.
It was Hampton the second. Yeah, I was 100% bullshitting with you guys when I was like, it's for sale. It was not. Again, it would have had to take an act of God.
That's fair. I mean, I think I'd value Hampton over any of the running backs I have on my team. It's Kyron Williams, Ken Walker. I'll take the guy that just went in the first round and is just starting his rookie contract.
What about Patrick Mahomes, first round pick, and Jesus? Would you do it?
Maybe. I'll think about it.
I say stupid not to.
Yeah, when I say
Mahomes and Hurts next year in Superflex, that could be.
it had to be Jetta's or Chase, like, or CD Lamb, like that. That's
Nobody is trading CD.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I traded him last year.
But I'm saying, like, that's what it would have taken to get off 102, and no one was doing that for 102.
Yeah. No, for sure. No, I like the pick, Danny. I like your picks as well.
Not a bad.
Now, I will
Kyle.
say I do have Higgins ahead of Trey Harris, but like I mentioned, that range is so tough to rank that whatever metric you use to decide between them probably makes sense. So, whatever reasons you chose Trey Harris over Higgins, I guess we don't have extra time to go through exactly why, like just the comparison of those two players.
Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us tonight, and all we can do is thank you and make sure you speak on things you feel strongly about, whether that's receiving a belt for a championship or whether it's knowing you're about to walk into the champion's house next year and kick their teeth in week 9, and you're looking forward to it. Mamlos D-Mix signing off for Danny Ocean and Kyle. Speak on it pod. We'll be here next Tuesday. Akili, Bam, thank you, good brothers, for pulling up, hanging out with us. Much love to you guys, per usual. Stay wavy, stay gravy. We'll see y'all. Peace.